Hi, I'm Rossana and I'm thrilled to be here and have the opportunity of sharing my message with you. Now, you might be thinking, who is this lady? Well, I'm not a psychotherapist, I'm not a coach, and I'm not a medical doctor. But I'm someone who went through a burnout, who suffered of depression, anxiety, and PTSD, and experienced the stigma associated to mental health from someone very close to me, my mom, who at the start of my journey advised me not to talk about my condition. Long story short, I heard her, but decided to do exactly the contrary. Because there should be no shame, no fault, no guilt if you're affected by mental health. And besides, it could happen to anybody at any time. So with the idea of talking about overcoming life challenges and mental health issues, I started a podcast back in May, and in less than 3 months, I've been in conversation with well over 40 extraordinary people who share their life stories and lessons learned with me. So in the next few minutes, I'd like to summarize 3 of these lessons. First of all, we are talking about stress. Now, let's face it, a bit of stress in life is okay. But when it affects every day of our life, we need to release it to avoid escalating. Simple acts like deep breathing or tapping on specific points of the body, like for example, the collarbone, can help us to feel better, at least for a little while. So, lesson number 1. Stress is the manifestation of a misalignment between our highest values and what the external world expects us to do. Grounding technique like meditation and journaling, when done daily, can help us understanding whether or not we are living a life on purpose. Lesson number 2. Stress, or worse, mental health, develop when the right external factors combine with the right internal conditions and create what I call the perfect storm. External factors may be major things like traumas, losses, significant breakups, problems at school or work, like for example, bullying. But also apparently minor things, especially with children, words that can affect their sense of worth and create a programming inside them. And that brings me to the internal factors. What do we think of ourselves? Do we have low self-esteem? Do we lack self-love? Do we have a low sense of self-worth? Do we think of not being enough, good enough, bright enough, white enough, dark enough, striped enough? You are enough. So you might wonder why these external factors and internal conditions can create the perfect storm. I'm going to use an analogy here. Imagine a seed that is transported by the wind. This seed can fall on a rock and die, or on a fertile soil and thrive. And this is true whether the seed produces a beautiful plant or just weed. Now, I don't know you, but in my garden, I only want to grow beautiful plants. Now, imagine that the seed is the external factor I was talking about. The wind is life, and we are the ground. Depending on the nature of that seed, we must decide whether we want to behave like a rock or like fertile soil. This means knowing what serves us and what doesn't. Unfortunately, if we have low self-esteem, no self-love, a low sense of self-worth, we are unable to understand what serves us and what doesn't. So cultivating self-love is absolutely paramount. And I put on the side a few points for you to consider later. Lesson number 3. Whether we like it or not, life happens. So it's paramount to become resilient. In difficult conditions, there are 3 ways people normally behave. Some may look tough, but during challenges, they literally melt down. These are the people that go through life behaving like victims. You can recognize them because they ask these empowering questions. Why is this happening to me? The second type of people is represented by those who are toughened by challenges. These are the survivors. Now, being a survivor is better than being a victim, but it's still a struggle. The third and final type of people is made by those who manage to understand what is happening around them and embrace it. These are the people that grow to a higher level in life after going through a challenge. These are the thrivers. And you recognize them because they ask empowering questions. What can I do in this situation to move forward? Now, you may wonder, yes, this is all good, but how can I become more resilient? Well, we must understand that our entire life has been designed and lived to equip us to do the very next thing. And as such, challenges are nothing more than blessings in disguise. Well, I hope that you find these messages useful. I wish all of you the very best in this summit and in life. Take care.